Good morning and welcome to the Gold, Ghosts, and Guns Market Report for today, the 8th of November, 2020. My name is Tom Luongo, and, well, we have a lot to talk about. I want to thank all the people who have signed up in the last couple of days. If this is your first time here, well, we're going to depart from our normal format just a little bit, but I want to welcome you and understand this is kind of what we do every Wednesday and every Sunday, so I appreciate it, and if what I wrote on Friday prompted that response from you, well, I appreciate that. Let's go forward. All right, I have I know you guys have been waiting patiently for my analysis of what I think is going to happen next, and I don't have a good answer for you. I will give you my probabilities. I'll throw those in with what I see from Martin Armstrong's arrays and how Martin is now interpreting them. Not sure I agree with how Martin is interpreting them. The fix was in. We knew this. They told us there were so many Freudian slips, and they couldn't hide it. They couldn't hide their glee. Their willful destruction of people's lives is what's on the docket here. Trump will fight this all the way to the end, but it will be nigh impossible for him to stand up to the pressure. Netanyahu has already betrayed him. Took him an hour. No one should be surprised. Interestingly, that the only person standing next to him is AMLO in Mexico. I think that's the greatest irony of all. Thank you for those who found those tweets this morning, last night, and popped them up on our private Slack server. I have probably the best crowdsourced research team there is. You guys are unbelievable. I am having a really hard time processing this, but I am also completely and utterly resolute. Ungovernable is the only word that matters. This bitch can't be my ruler. I will not be ruled by her. And 75 or 100 million Americans need to say the same damn thing. And you need to say it proudly and defiantly to everybody in your social circles. No, this is not acceptable. This is not American, or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. You want to put a label on that, that's fine. To me, it's just unacceptable. Okay, they have pushed us too far. If the courts and the legislatures are not completely bought and paid for, if they're not irredeemably corrupt, and we're going to find out in the next 6 to 8 weeks whether or not they are. This is why I can't tell you what's going to happen. I don't know any more than you do whether or not the judges who are going to be adjudicating here are going to do the right thing. And if they fail to do the right thing, if the state legislatures are going to then step up and do the right thing. But all I know is that if the United States, if the people who voted for Donald Trump and the people who voted for Joe Biden and are looking at this going, are you kidding? This is not acceptable. Then if they don't demand and pressure these venal, spineless pieces of human flotsam into doing the right thing, then we deserve everything that's coming to us. What else is there? They're going to make the markets completely untradeable going forward. As far as what's happening, we are now into phase 2, as either Stoyanovich or on Twitter so rightly pointed out to me yesterday. This is the phase 2. This is the media campaign to pressure the existing president to step down for the good of the people. This is all part of the script. Do not let it get you down. They will never tell you that you were right. Ever. They will never admit that they're corrupt. They will never admit that Donald Trump is not anything other than Orange Hitler. That's who they are. That's what they are. They are pot committed to this. Don't seek their approval. You know they're evil. You know they're wrong. You know this is who they are, and you know they don't believe a word coming out of their own mouths, and they don't care. Because if they cared, if they had any sense of shame, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. There will be thousands of people step forward and say, this is rigged. This was wrong. There will be so many court cases. And it's going to turn on what the Secret Service and what state legislatures do. Joe Biden can talk all he wants. But until January 20th, Donald Trump is the president. He won't be able to release any information that he hasn't already released unless he has complete control over it, because the bureaucracy is not listening to him. Bill Barr is not going to do anything and ride it at the final moment. There is no Deus Ex Machina, guys. There's just commies and the grinding bureaucracy. What are you going to do about it? It's not insurmountable. Times get like this, and it looks like you're all going to die. That's when you got to get mean. I mean mad dog, plumb mad dog mean. I'm butchering the line from the Outlaw Aussie Wales. You know what I'm talking about. You have to become Leonidas, telling Xerxes, Molon Labe, come and take them. You want my guns? You want my life? You want my capital? Come and get it. That smug face on Kamala Harris that Kamala Harris is wearing right now, that turns to abject terror. The minute everybody turns around and says, no. Color revolutions unfold in a very predictable manner. What is clear now, and what should be clear to everybody who says they're anti-empire, this is the Caitlin Johnsons, this is the Scott Ritters, this is everybody who have touristed their way through the last 4 years complaining about the United States empire. It's not the US, guys. It's the Davos crowd. If you look at what's happening today, it's very clear that this is all coming from Europe. The Chinese are laughing their asses off. They're making t-shirts. I'm going to show you the charts today. You'll see it clear as day. The markets are starting or have already decided what's going to happen. And the European colonies are so full of violence, so full of themselves and their arrogance and their that they're going to push this all the way to the end. Merkel's already coming out against Trump. Netanyahu's come out against Trump. Heiko Maas has come out against Trump. Just wait. You'll see it come out of the UK as well. Boris Johnson will abandon Trump. It's coming. It's here. It's part of the process. And all of our members and our friends of Serbian extraction, Egyptian extraction, Belarusian extraction, Ukrainian extraction. I can go on and on and on. You know what I'm talking about. For years, the United States took the blame while Europe sat in the background playing both sides against the middle. But Europe has been the impetus behind all of this. Sure, there are American co-conspirators in the deep state. There are UK conspirators within the US deep state. Of course, there's a convergence of American, British, and European commies. all working towards a particular goal. Obviously. But it was never the U.S. The U.S. was the blunt instrument. Because now that blunt instrument's been turned on itself. Told you for 4 years I've been saying the EU projects an aura of invincibility, of inevitability. They will win. They're doing it right now. And they're laughing at us. These are the most despicable people on the planet, and they're laughing at you. They think you're scum. They think you're deplorable. They think you're chumps. What are you going to do about it? All right. Get to the charts. I'll get you. Gold. Let's talk about gold. Once it became clear that Biden was going to be declared the victor, the markets didn't know what to do. Everybody rushed into safe havens. Last week, for the last few weeks, we've been talking about how this has been really boring in gold. Well, we had a breakdown bar 6 weeks ago to punish gold investors for thinking they can get out of the game because, they are the laws of thermodynamics. That was negated this week. Not only did we didn't quite close in gold above this 1955 high, but broke above it, closed above these three highs in here. We'll see this area. We'll see follow through this week. I don't have any doubt in my mind that we'll see follow through this week. There's no reason to think that there isn't going to be. With Biden declaring victory and with everybody putting on the full court press to try and legitimize him as the demented and sad Juan Guaido. There you go. There we are. Okay. So that's what gold looks like. Now, what's interesting is that gold wasn't able to best this high here. Ready? Silver. Silver did, however, by 4 cents. Same chart pattern here, right? But more volatile in silver. Note as well, way back here when the markets broke after the all-time high, gold threw a 1-bar reversal, closing below the previous uptrend low, right? So this is an uptrend. For those of you who are new, this is an uptrend, okay? The rules for downtrends work exactly the same way. You're looking for a close to negate this uptrend. You're looking for a close below the last up bar low within 2 bars. 1 bar reversal here, this would have been a 2-bar reversal. If we had closed, say, up in here, it avoided it for a bar, but then we wound up closing down here, this would be a 2-bar reversal. 1-bar reversals are more powerful than 2-bar reversals. They start new trends 85% of the time. 2-bar reversals about 65% of the time. 3-bar reversals are coin flips, so they confer no net advantage. 50% of the time they go up, 50% of the time they go down. How do you trade that? You don't trade it. You wait for confirmation of something of some other type. Okay. So this 1-bar reversal touched off this downtrend. No reversal, trade sideways, break down, trade sideways, break up. This is the downtrend. There was a 2-bar uptrend within the context of this bar, kind of setting up that this low was confirmed. Trade sideways for 5 weeks, 3-bar downtrend, boom. And now we're looking for, okay, so now when you're looking on the upside, what are you looking for? Are you looking for breaking and closing above previous important highs? And this is the last and previously important high. So gold needs to break above that on a weekly closing basis. This is the weekly chart in order to say what's going to happen this week, to give us an idea of what's going to happen into the future and see if that's going to propagate out through time. As of right now, it's not propagating out through time, but that's fine. It doesn't have to. It just needs to do this. We're way too early in November to be looking ahead to November's close 23 days from now or 22 days from now. All right. The futures premium still stands at slightly positive, so supply is still constrained within the futures market over the cash price. All right. So no one believes President Harris. No one believes President Harris. He's got stronger internals than gold. Why? Because after this massive uptrend, silver never threw a reversal signal within 2 bars. It traded sideways for 7 weeks and then broke down again. So this breakdown bar here has less power. than gold's breakdown bar, because gold's breakdown bar, we still haven't bested this high on a closing basis. Silver, because of this internal strength here, was able to do that here. You could argue that I'm overreading this, but I don't think so. Because all I've been saying is that, well, this is telling you that any further down move in silver is likely to be met with more support. And I was right about that. And that this low was never even approached again. So this was a market liquidity spasm created on the day to induce as much despair as possible, kind of like Juan Guaido declaring himself demented president, senile president, not my senator. And then moving forward, and then trading sideways until we get a signal. No, we can actually go above 25 bucks again. There we go. That's silver. Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin has given us no ambiguous signals whatsoever. Not since the beginning, not since the breakdown back when the Corona apocalypse hit in early March. Nothing but blue skies. Massive uptrend. No reversal signal here, but this bar is so this bar is $6,000 huge. There's no precedent for this bar. So all you can do then is look to see if this low is ever approached again. Once it wasn't, Bitcoin just went on a tear, eventually breaking, taking all of the energy. It took 7 weeks to finally close above the top of this bar, and once it did so, it traded sideways for 12 weeks. What a shock. All of the bullish energy that it took to overcome this bar had to be consolidated. We had to really believe that this was what was happening. No reversal signal, though. No, never a close below this last up bar. Not even close. There was a moment, and then it reversed it. And I remember back and then saying, that's important. We never got the reversal signal. So all we had to do was wait. So now we can kind of ignore all the stuff, all this stuff in here. Just look at this and we go, oh, look, we have a 3-bar downtrend, 2-bar, and then, we have this in here, and we're just looking at this consolidation pattern. And now all we're doing is looking for a breakout to the upside. Volatility dropped off to nothing. Boom, broke to the upside. Within 2 bars, we broke above this high and that high. And then we're back into this area. Same thing, no reversal signal. Even when there is a breakdown bar, doesn't even approach this low. Trade sideways for 5 weeks. Boom, 5 weeks later, we put on 40%. Done. This is as textbook a breakout or an uptrend as you ask for. You can always look at it this way. Stage 1, consolidate. Stage 2, a little noisier. Stage 3, probably get really noisy. There's a stair-step pattern. The bull markets. This was the false move down in Bitcoin. Now that we're done with that on the weekly chart, we could chart all that stuff. Take the big step back and look at this from a bigger picture. Now, what's important to understand for those of you who are new, I don't just look at things within one time frame. I'm always looking at things within multiple time frames. Breakouts on the weekly chart potentially portend breakouts on the monthly chart, and then the quarterly chart, and then the annual chart. I'm going to skip the monthly chart today because it's immaterial, because that's the highest monthly close of all time. It's embedded in this chart. So we can see how many times Bitcoin is using this area just shy of 14,000 as the top of this consolidation pattern. Now, this is a log chart here. This is not linear. So it really does compress the volatility of the last 4 years, Bitcoin, into what looks like a pretty normal, everyday, boring old consolidation pattern. If you saw this pattern on the 1 hour chart for the Dow Jones, you would be like, ooh, buy in here. Looking for a 5 or 7% gain over the next 2 days. That's what you'd be thinking. Well, okay, but given the magnitude of this in logarithmic terms, just chart this in logarithmic terms. Just take this width of this consolidation bar and add that amount of distance up to here, and you're up into the 80,000 area. Like, Bitcoin's going to go to 80 or 90,000 on this run if it closes this month above 13,929.8 or 4 or whatever it is, 13,929. Closes above $14,000, we're going to 80,000, possibly even overshooting to 100. The fundamentals are just too strong. There are too many people scared to death about what to do. They see lockdowns coming. They see travel restrictions. They see capital controls in their future. They're trying to figure out what the hell to do with their money. And the last place that they can move it across borders without anybody having any idea that you've got it, because you can't move bars of gold. They'll just take it from you. You can't go to, can't consider, expatting, leaving the country, doing what you're going to do and taking your wealth with you. Not like my grandparents did. My grandparents all took their wealth with them. Like they hiked everything onto their back, got on a ship, and sailed to New York 120 years ago, 115 years ago. What they did. My grandfather came over here in 1906 at the age of 5. His parents put him on a boat at the age of 5 and sailed him across the world to get away from the rising fascism in Italy. What do people get to do today? When we're looking at central bank digital currencies and them telling you what you're allowed to spend your money on, because it won't be convertible into anything else other than what they tell you it'll be allowed to be converted into. And there are no other options. Bitcoin, junk silver, that's the underground economy of the future. And they're going to work overtime to try and stop Bitcoin from accreting that kind of value, or do everything imaginable to ensure that they have traceable controls in place, which is why I'm now beginning to become extremely bullish on the privacy coins. I think we've been off that train for a few years now because it wasn't really an important use case, but now that we're on the verge of a complete, we're on the verge of pogroms here, guys. They're going to have to be able to move your capital. Why Monero is breaking out to the upside. I don't have a chart for it today, but go look at a chart of Monero. I have other coins that I think are better, and they're in the portfolio for those of you who are new. So, and we'll talk about them in the future as well. I'm waiting for some more confirmatory signals before I start talking about it again. We'll probably start talking about cryptos again in a much more organized manner over the course of the next couple of weeks. With this breakout in Bitcoin, it's going to become a much more interesting topic of conversation. And again, for those of you who aren't on our Slack server and are interested in this stuff, you should absolutely go make an account over on Slack. You can get the invite from me. You should have gotten it when you signed up. You should have gotten an invite link in the email that I sent you. But if you need one, just mention it and I'll get it out to you. All right, let's go from there. Because there's a lot of really good people analyzing what's happening in the crypto market from multiple different angles within this community. Very, very good. I learn a lot from them. All right, let's go. All right, so what's on the table? So the theme for the rest of this podcast, market report, whatever you want to call it, is more middle class destruction is coming. The commies have to destroy the middle class. All they've got. That's their path to power. At least that's what they feel is their path to power. So let's look at copper. I've been talking for months or now about how the oil chart is a mess. And I'm going to show you the updated version of Brent crude in a couple minutes. I want you to note what's happening here in copper. Now, you can see the green line is your nominal resistance zone right above 305 or something like that. I could move it down a little lower and, grab these highs in here. But this is as good as, this is a good best fit line. But note these 3 bars. So bar number 1 is a breakout. It's a breakout above this high in here, right? We had an uptrend, consolidation, no reversal signal, uptrend, consolidation, no reversal signal, a little bit of volatility, false move down, move higher, and then boom, 4 weeks later, we got a close, a weekly close above this bar. Note that's where the close is. Note the green line is above these two. The highs here, this is a breakout. Classic textbook breakout. Even though, there's a high tail up here that, copper overshot, it was able to close above this high. That puts it in a position to do work. So there's a 4-bar uptrend and then a reversal signal. We close below this low. After breaking out, we got a reversal signal to the downside. Why? They created turmoil in the equity markets. And then what happened this week? This is the most important bar of all. So bar number 3 is also a reversal signal because not only did we break the previous low and the previous high, but we closed above the previous high. So this is a breakout bar, and then it's reversed, and then it's immediately reversed. Back-to-back reversals are very powerful. They're very powerful in whatever the last signal is. So if the last bar was bullish, that's an even more bullish breakout pattern because it's already been tested from a momentum standpoint, and the previous low was already tested and reversed. Like, this is, the market got this wrong. This is the real move. Wasn't sure here. Tested the bulls to the limit, trapped a lot of bears, created a lot of supply overhead, and busted through. And the bulls just all lifted their bids. Said, no, you guys are going to pay for pushing copper down to $3. And I'm going to make you pay hard. That's what that looks like, okay, in behavioral terms. And we've got 10-to-1 pot odds this week that we're going higher versus going lower. Now, something else to talk about here. 85 for new people. 85% of bars are outside bars, meaning you break either the previous low or the previous high, right? So here you've broken the previous high, here you've broken the previous low. Inside bars comprise about 15% of bars, maybe a little fewer than that. There isn't a good inside. There's an inside bar right here, just barely, right? That's where you break neither the previous high nor the previous low. You trade within or inside the previous bar. Outside bar, you trade outside, either bullishly or bearishly, the previous bar. Engulfing bars are where you traded both. So when you see this, you get a breakout, you get a reversal signal, then you get a bullish engulfing 1-bar reversal. But the most powerful signal you can ask for in basic everyday freaking chart analysis. This is as bullish a signal as you can ever ask for. Copper prices rising is bad. This is input prices. This is Dr. Copper is your proxy for input prices. Producer input prices. That's bad. So we got producer prices rising. Soybeans. Let's look at the monthly chart of soybeans. Soybeans are now trading at $11 a bushel. I told everybody back here, this is bad. The food inflation is going to start. Called this 1-bar reversal right here. Boom. 6 months later. This is where we are. Why? Weather patterns are changing. China's got massive flooding. Off the charts demand for soybeans. There's crop failures. It's only going to get worse from here. And they're going to destroy all the supply chain. So we can't even get the soybeans we produced from where they are to where they need to go. And the soybeans is a proxy for all the food. So we've got producer prices rising. We've got food prices rising. And it's happening all across the grain space. And it's beginning to translate into the meat space. And oil prices are falling. Now, first order adolescent analysts who are paid a lot of money by JP Morgan and Goldman to move the market and fleece Muppets in their terminology tell you that, lower oil prices are good. That lowers input prices because energy costs are the biggest things, blah, 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 blah. How are energy prices falling and copper prices rising? It's good for copper miners. But you still have to be able to get stuff from where you want it to where there still has to be demand. There's no demand. Right? 4 reversals in 7 weeks. Go through the chart. For your homework for the new people, I already told you how reversals work. Go identify the 4 reversals in 7 weeks on this chart right here. And then see the breakdown bar here. And then this, which means nothing. Outside bar to the downside, nowhere approaches this low, closes in the lower half of this bar. Oil's going lower. This is job destruction. Because a lot of people are involved in the supply chain for oil and for all the things that go along with it. It's not just the 100,000 people who work directly in the oil industry in the United States. It's the millions of people that are tied to that. Tied directly to that. It's chemicals, it's this, it's everything. It's plastics, it's cars, it's all the downstream things. It's millions and millions of people. So we have input prices rising while food prices are rising and jobs being destroyed. Isn't that wonderful? And what was the, but we could be saved by rising demand, right? Well, they're locking everything down in Europe. Look at the German DAX. Look at that. Look at that. I'm going to show you the Dow in just a minute. I'm going to show you something else. So we got Europe. So there's the German DAX. Massive down bar. Oh, really? This is supposed to be some kind of reversal bar? Yeah, pull the other leg of plays, jingle bells. This is a massively bearish chart pattern. We drop down here. We climb back up, nowhere approach the all-time high. And then the minute we get anywhere close to it, we get multiple massive breakdown bars. This bar is nonsensical. We will not see 13,000 on the DAX. This is distribution. Lower lows, lower highs, all bad. Same pattern, but worse on the Euro Stoxx 50. Same thing, much clearer as to what's happening. Boom, 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 all bad. These are your dominant signals. All these big red bars. All this stuff is a reflation trade based on money. And Christine Lagarde at the ECB isn't going to bail anyone out until it's all destroyed. Because in order for them to affect their great reset, they have to destroy capital markets. And they're efficiently doing that right now. So while Europe is going on lockdown, destroying demand, destroying businesses, destroying supply chains, while producer prices rise, food prices rise, and jobs are destroyed, Asia's taking flight. That's the monthly chart of the Nikkei 225. Japan. In a position right now to set a 3-year high monthly close. Within, 100 points? Whoa. The Nikkei does that in an hour. So if Japan is rising, Russia, oil economy, Russia, massive drop, big uptrend that busts through this bar. Yeah, it looks a lot like the German DAX, but notice how close it is to throwing, after this breakdown bar from last month, into the quarterly close, or into the October close, in order to try and oust Trump from power. How close the Russian stock market is here, with oil breaking down. Massive amounts of money are flowing into Russia right now because the Russians are treating capital better than Europe. Putin won't lock the economy down. Putin showing faith in his people. And then the last one is China. That's the monthly chart of the FTSE China 50. Where's the lockdown in China? Where's the corona apocalypse on that chart? It's supposed to be back here, right? I don't know what else to tell you. That should tell you all the story you need to know. And then we have the Dow. So Europe is going to get crushed. Asia's taking off. And who's caught in the middle? The people currently being color revolution. And there's the Dow. Pushing higher. Nearly a new all-time high. Back in September. Choppy. False move down. And reversal this week. This is a massive false bar down. False move down. This is a 6 sigma. 6 orders, 6 standard deviations away from the mean in terms of volatility. And then what do we get the following week? Okay? The chop will be mighty. The Dow is going to chop for the next couple of months while we're in political hell. While capital flows to China. And with Abe stepping down in Japan, Japan is now in a position to declare independence from the United States somewhat. The United States is going to be ritualistically humiliated. That's what's coming. So I don't have any other good news for you guys. A break with tradition now and begin cueing the music. I'm gonna play you a song that I played both bass and drums on and actually backing vocals on for a friend of mine, which actually prompted me to record the songs that you guys have heard me play as the write out music here. I can do this because there's no copyright against this, and I think this song is. I'm going to play the whole thing on the write out tonight. I'm not going to let it go after 30 seconds. So you guys take care. I think it's the most appropriate thing I can come up with. And my friend who wrote the song, while he may be one of the biggest shit libs I've ever met, he's also a damn fine person. And I think this tell you exactly what I think of this guy. All right, you guys take care. You be well. Keep your stick on the ice.